The film story begins with a girl named Sophia. She was actually a shark researcher. She had come to her friends in the Pacific Ocean to track a shark named Lilith. Sophia and her team had been tracking Lilith for a long time, and even today they think, when will Lilith come back on their radar? They plan to take a sample of it and conduct research, and then, suddenly, the radars start showing signals as if the shark Lilith is coming into their area. The 4 people of this team, including Sophia's husband, jump into the ocean and start looking for Lilith. They come across a baby whale, which was indeed a baby, but was very large in size. The scary thing was that the baby whale was dead and half of its body was missing. The team began wondering, who could be the killer of this whale? That's when the whale's blood comes into sight. Yes, it was none other than Lilith, who had now come before them. Seeing this, they all get very scared because 2 months ago, when they examined Lilith, she was only 2.5 meters tall. Now she was almost 7 meters tall. That is, in just 2 months, she had grown 3 times her original size, which was truly shocking. Now, the wise thing to do here would have been to save their lives, but here, the biggest mistake was made by Sophia's husband. Despite seeing death right in front of him, he wanted to take a sample from Lilith. So, in an attempt to take a sample from the shark's body, they stabbed Lilith. And then, what happened? Lilith went out of control and attacked the 4 people of the team, cutting them into pieces. Sophia and her friend witnessed the scene from the boat, although she was also extremely terrified. When there was a moment of peace, Sophia jumped into the ocean with the hope that someone might still be alive. But there were only the remains of her teammates' bodies, which Lilith had savagely killed. Blood was everywhere. Now, Lilith also appears before Sophia, who was no less than a monster. Lilith attacked Sophia as well and dragged her into the ocean. But somehow, Sophia managed to save her life. Here, the scene changes and skips to 3 years later, where Sophia had stopped researching sharks. Now she worked as an aquarium guide, explaining different kinds of fish to children, which the kids thoroughly enjoyed. Now we are introduced to a girl named Mika, who was a marine activist. She was researching and spreading awareness about the ocean. She ran a company called Saviors of Sea, whose job was to save marine life. That is, it was her responsibility to protect every creature living in the sea. Mika meets Sophia, whom she brings to her headquarters, and shows her that the Lilith shark, on which Sophia was conducting research a few years ago, is heading to a river in Paris, meaning into her city. Mika explains that Lilith is about to enter the river in Paris, and she wants Sophia's help to examine and stop Lilith. To this, Sophia replies that it's not a big deal. Sharks often migrate from one place to another due to changing weather conditions. She also adds that although it's rare for a shark to travel from the Pacific Ocean to a river, it is highly unlikely that Lilith or any shark could survive in the fresh water of the river. Sophia, haunted by her tragic past, was hesitant to get involved in tracking sharks again. So, she leaves after giving her reasons. Next, we see 2 boys standing near the river, who discover 2 small missiles in the water. The police arrive and collect the missiles, reassuring everyone that since World War II, small missiles and their shells are often found in this river. So, there's no need to be afraid. That night, Mika and her friend visit the river. Although they said they were investigating a car accident, Mika was actually there to check if Lilith had entered the river. Mika's friend jumps into the water and notices large shark tracks. Just then, the police arrive to catch them, as it was illegal to conduct such investigations. The police apprehend Mika, while her friend escapes. Now we see Sophia, who managed to track Lilith, and confirmed that Lilith had indeed entered the river. The following morning, the police retrieved a man's body from the river who had died in a car accident the previous night. Everyone was horrified by the condition of the body, as half of it was missing, clearly having been devoured by a large animal. Sophia and Mika were with the river authorities at that moment, and Sophia said with certainty, "This is Lilith's doing. We have to stop her, or more people will die." But Mika misunderstood. She thought that if the only way to stop Lilith from killing people was to kill her, then the government was planning to exterminate the shark. Being a marine activist, Mika's mission was to protect marine creatures, including Lilith. She started working to save Lilith, believing that killing the shark was wrong, despite the fact that Lilith was killing humans. The next day, Sophia and the officers returned to the river. Their plan was to capture Lilith. Everything was going well, and they were about to locate the shark, when Mika, with the help of her hacker friend, sabotaged Sophia's tracker. This made it impossible for the officers to track Lilith, leaving them vulnerable. However, Lilith changed her route, giving the officers a chance to escape unharmed, but the situation became dire. Now, the monster shark was roaming in the heart of the city, in the river. The officers informed the mayor, who was alarmed. She said, "We must stop the shark at any cost, because there's a big event planned on this river in a few days, and I can't cancel it." Meanwhile, Mika secretly recorded a video and sent it to various marine activists, informing them that the government planned to kill the sharks, including Lilith. She urged them to unite and save the sharks. She insisted that sharks didn't pose a threat to humans. In the video, she announced, "Tonight, we'll gather in the Paris catacombs." The catacombs were underground tunnels spreading throughout Paris. Mika shared her entire plan with her fellow activists, but one of them reported it to the police. As night fell, Mika and the marine activists arrived at the catacombs. Sophia and the officers were also there, as they had learned about Mika's plan. The officers and activists began arguing, and Mika jumped into the catacomb river to prove that sharks weren't dangerous to humans. A shark appeared, but it wasn't Lilith. Soon, more sharks swarmed the area. It quickly became evident that Mika was wrong. The sharks were extremely dangerous. Mika was attacked and killed brutally, her body torn to pieces. Witnessing this, the activists panicked and fled, realizing their mistake. Their attempt to protect the sharks had backfired horribly. Many activists fell into the river, and the sharks mercilessly ripped them apart. Blood filled the water. The situation was eventually brought under control, and the survivors were rescued. During this time, a female shark was killed. Sophia examined it and found that it was pregnant with numerous babies, which was a shocking revelation. It became clear that this species could give birth to many babies at once, and their numbers could multiply rapidly. Worse, these sharks could survive in fresh water, a trait they inherited from Lilith, who had adapted to freshwater due to climate changes. Sophia and the authorities speculated that there could be thousands of these sharks living in the catacombs, so they decided to plant explosives in the tunnels to kill them all. The next day, the swimming event took place in the river, despite the mayor knowing the risks. Sophia and the officers entered the catacombs to plant the explosives. The bombs were placed, but as they prepared to detonate, a shark attacked the senior officer. Despite his injuries, he managed to set off the explosion. Several shark pups were killed, and the senior officer was pulled to safety. Meanwhile, Lilith, mourning the death of her offspring, became enraged and broke through the net. She headed toward the swimming event, where she brutally killed a man. Panic ensued, and more sharks appeared, attacking people in the river. Blood filled the river as the sharks devoured the swimmers. In the chaos, the officers shot at the sharks, but one bullet hit the undetonated World War II missiles lying at the bottom of the river. This triggered a massive explosion, causing a tsunami-like wave that swept through the city, bringing widespread destruction. Only Sofia and the senior officer survived, witnessing the devastation. Bodies and sharks were everywhere, and it was revealed that the sharks were spreading to nearby areas due to the tsunami. This meant that they could potentially spread across the country and the world, threatening to bring about the destruction of humanity. With this heartbreaking ending, the movie concludes. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe.